Hello and welcome everyone, I'm David, and in this video we will be checking out the rules for the Shadow Tactics Ronin Expansion. If you haven't checked out our previous video about the rules of the base game, then I strongly advise you to do so, because in this video we will be only talking about the differences between the two. The Ronin expansion is very exciting because it adds a fully cooperative mode to the Shadow Tactics board game. In the Ronin expansion, there are no Daimyo player, there are only ninjas working together. The Daimyo is replaced by an automated system which is controlled solely by dice. Now let's take a look at the ninja actions, which work very similarly to the base game, but there are a few exceptions. First of all, ninjas program all their cards face up. There is a modified set of bonuses. Ninjas have no rush bonus. In advanced mode, ninja players do not communicate about tactics during execution, but can do so until all cards are programmed. This is a good news, especially for those kind of players who hate when an alpha player ruins the whole game. This is pretty much everything about the ninjas, all the rest works exactly the same. But let's talk about the Daimyo, because that is a whole different story. The Daimyo action cards, bonus cards, and tool-built items are not used in the Ronin expansion. However, the Daimyo tactics cards are used because that gives another little challenge for the ninjas to overcome. Instead of action cards, there is a set of Daimyo actions to be executed one after another in a specific order. This is represented by the Daimyo reference card that is programmed instead of the Daimyo action card. This is always placed on the earliest slot on the programming mat, the second slot, or during an alarm on the alarm slot. When the reference card is next in line, one of the players takes the Daimyo dice and executes all the actions that apply for the specific mission and the current situation. These actions reflect the main tactics an actual Daimyo player would follow in the 1 versus many mode. Roll for each action in order. There are dice that give guards movement points. The deployment die spawns new guards next to the barracks, and the junction die determines the color of the junction a guard must watch. The guards work very similarly as they did in the base game, but there are a few key differences that we have to take a look at. The guards can move within a yard for 1 movement point and to another one for 2 points. Similarly to the base game rules, moving to another yard requires an officer. Depending on the goal of a certain action, guards are usually placed watching a bush, a junction, or another guard. A guard is watching a bush if it can't stop a visible action from it. A guard is watching a junction if it can't stop a visible movement through it. Watching another guard only requires to place the guard facing inwards. In Ronin mode, a second guard in a yard must always be placed in a position so that the third guard could fit. Whenever there are multiple options to place a guard in a yard, the junction die is rolled to determine the final orientation. And now let's talk about the actions of the Daimyo. The Daimyo has 6 different actions available for him, and 1 additional one if there's an alarm. The first one is the target withdraw. Move a target further from the ninjas. This action only appears in certain missions though. Reinforcement. Move guards from the barracks towards the ninjas. Deployment. This brings new guards next to the barracks. Roll the deployment die. Samurai and officers are only deployed during an alarm. In other cases, no guard is placed. Roll call. Guards try to find a body if there are any. Defend. In each mission, there are certain objectives the Daimyo should protect. These can be guards, items, or exits. Guards are moved to watch and defend these objectives. Intercept. With this action, guards' movement depends on what kind of action the ninjas programmed, and guards will try to move directly to stop them. Players roll the 8-sided movement die against each ninja separately. Investigate. The last action is investigate. This action only happens during an alarm. This action works very similarly to intercept, but in this case, only alert guards will move, and specifically to the purpose to find the ninjas in the bushes. In this case, guards will move to watch bushes the ninjas may end their turn in. The The setup works a little bit differently though. Similarly to the base game, the missions don't have a fixed setup either. Fixed items are the same, but setup items are placed randomly using number tokens. The other good news is there is a solo mode for those single players out there. As with the 1 versus many mode, the game is balanced to have at least 3 ninjas on the map in the same time. However, in case of fewer players, a player will take on the role of more than 1 ninja at the same time. The game balance depends upon the range of decisions to choose from and the size of the area the ninjas can cover. That's why the minimum of 3 ninjas are needed. From 3 ninja characters upwards, the game scales itself. More ninja mean more risk, more noise, and more opportunity to produce glory tokens for the Daimyo. Apart from the number of ninja characters per player, no other changes are necessary for any player count, neither for solo mode. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to know more about Shadow Tactics or the Ronin expansion, there are links for you in the description. See you guys.